Hi and thanks for tuning in. In this week's video I want to give you a behind the scenes tour of the nursery here at Halecat and to show you how we grow our plants. So we're lucky enough to be in the South Lake District in the north of England, and the site itself here at Halecat is on the edge of a village called Witherslack. The landscape round here is very rugged. There's limestone rock everywhere and beautiful mixed woodland, which does mean that as a terrain it's quite wild. But the nursery itself was created in a natural bowl, and the whole site is shrouded if you like by woodland, which creates this wonderful microclimate to grow the plants in. So the site here at Halecat is split into two. We've got the public garden areas and then there's the growing side. The whole site in total is about 2 acres and each segment takes up an acre. We're not huge, we're quite limited for space, so everything in every space is important to us and we have to make the most of what we have. We're now in November, and at this time of year the nursery is closed to the general public at least, and that's why the beds where the plants are for sale are empty. We bring all the stock under cover during the winter time, and it gives us an opportunity to deconstruct, if you like, all the areas that we sell the plants from and get them ready for the spring, which is really only a few months away. So this is the growing area on the nursery. We've got an acre of space here to grow 40,000 plants, 1,000 different perennials, and to do that we have to squeeze them into all the available space that we do have. And it's November now, so the plants have to go undercover, and we do that using a range of techniques and methods, using polytunnels that we have, covered spaces that we've built ourselves, or using big large windows that we were able to salvage from the site when we took it on. And doing that we can just about squeeze the plants into the area we have, with a view to then bringing them back out into the open in the springtime. Now in many respects this is the most important area on the nursery, because in here we have all our young plants for the following season, for next year and the year after. We produce the vast majority of our plants from seed, and they are sown in the spring and then pricked out into the cell trays that we use extensively for everything that we grow. And without what we have in here we wouldn't have anything for future seasons, so therefore we're very conscious that we have to look after what's in here really well. And we feel really strongly that plants that are grown this way, from seed particularly, establish so much better locally. It's about producing plants with local provenance so that they are completely accustomed to the local climate. That's something that is our speciality, if you like, producing the plants ourselves in this way, because the very act of producing plants on the nursery from seed, sadly, is something that's in decline, and that's something that we really want to champion. Now, one thing we have to bear in mind is that we're not going to get everything through the winter time. We might want to or like to, but the reality is that plants will die. The same way as seedlings that you raise at home, you'll be lucky if all of them survive, and we're just the same. So I don't want to create the illusion that everything we grow survives here. It's not the case. And we just have to make sure that we grow enough plants and bear that in mind for future seasons. Now, one of the challenges we have being in this part of the world is the wildlife factor. The countryside is teeming with it, and the woodlands next door are immersed in deer, rabbits, mice, and the mouse factor is particularly challenging with this dry stone wall that surrounds the entire nursery. It acts like a giant mouse hotel, and we provide food for them every single day of the year. So we have that to contend with. Also slugs and snails. But as I say, if you grow enough plants, you can get away with it. Now, some of you might have heard of something called a frost pocket, and that's where cold air sinks to a lower part of a site, whether it's a garden or in our case on the nursery, meaning that the growing area where we are here is at our lowest point. So in the depths of the winter time, because the sun doesn't climb above the trees, when it does freeze here, it's pretty Baltic, and we're at the mercy of the frozen nature of the plants essentially. And we can only really start working again with them when things start to warm up again in the spring. Come on. What we really hope is that as a visitor to the nursery, you can see how much of a connection we make between what we grow and what we sell and grow in the gardens within the nursery itself. We don't try to hide that or shield that off from you, and we leave it as open as we possibly can, so that there's a seamless transition between what we grow and what we sell, and you can make that connection as well. So that's a behind the scene tour of the nursery, and if you'd like to come back and see us in the springtime, then I'll be leaving a link to our website on the description below, and you can find out all about us there.